A reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 29 through 42. At midnight the Lord slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh on the throne to the firstborn of the prisoner in the dungeon, as well as all the firstborn of the animals. Pharaoh arose in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was loud wailing throughout Egypt, for there was not a house without its dead. During the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Leave my people at once, you and the Israelites with you. Go and worship the Lord as you said. Take your flocks too and your herds as you demanded, and be gone, and you will be doing me a favor." The Egyptians likewise urged the people on to hasten their departure from the land. They thought that otherwise they would all die. The people therefore took their dough before it was leavened, in their kneading bowls, wrapped in their cloaks on their shoulders. The Israelites did as Moses had commanded. They asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold and for clothing. The Lord indeed had made the Egyptians so well disposed toward the people that they let them have whatever they asked for. Thus did they despoil the Egyptians. The Israelites set out from Ramses for Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, not counting the children. A crowd of mixed ancestry also went up with them, besides their livestock, very numerous flocks and herds. Since the dough they had brought out of Egypt was not leavened, they baked it into unleavened loaves. They had been rushed out of Egypt, and no opportunity even to prepare food for the journey. The time the Israelites had stayed in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of 430 years, all the hosts of the Lord left the land of Egypt on this very date. This was a night of vigil for the Lord. As he left them out of the land of Egypt, so on the same night all the Israelites must keep a vigil for the Lord throughout their generations. So here we have the Exodus, the leaving of Egypt, for which this book is titled. It happens closely after midnight, after all the firstborn are killed. And Pharaoh summons Moses and Aaron and says, "All of you get out." Luckily, the people were ready. They were packed. They had their sandals on, and they were shod so that they could leave. And as they left, each one asked his neighbor for clothing, for silver, and for gold. Now, there are a few interesting points. Before, in previous chapters, they said that God told them to prepare unleavened bread. God told them to prepare unleavened bread so that they would be able to, so that because they were going to be rushed out, here it says they were rushed out, and so they had to bake their bread unleavened, almost as if it was a surprise for them. One said, "Ask all of your neighbors beforehand." The other, it seems to say that they are asking their neighbors as they are leaving. So there's a little bit of confusion in those points about what happened. Then it talks about the Israelites set out, about 600,000 men, not counting the children, probably not also not counting the women. So if you say double it is 1.2 million, so maybe you have 1.5 million people in this group, 400 years after, I believe, 73 or 83 entered into the country. So if you have a generation of 20 years, that's a period of 5 times 4, 20 generations. 20 generations. They went from 83 to, say, 1.5 million people in this story. And so you have these things that they have grown, and that now they have money, now they have wealth to take with them, and the Egyptians want to get rid of them because they have seen the power of the Lord and are afraid that the Lord will continue to strike with power. This episode shows what should be our reaction to natural disasters, what should be our reaction to tragedy, which is that the world is much bigger than us, the universe is much bigger than us, and so we should be humble. Ideally, we would seek the Lord, but even if we are secular, we should at least be humble and not think that man knows everything and not think that man has all power, but to humble ourselves, to see that we are merely a part of creation and that ultimately the power belongs to God.